Coming to America 2, The Reveal. Coming to America 2 was the equivalent of going from the greatness of Boomerang to Dr. Dolittle. Basically, Eddie Murphy, starring as Prince Hakeem again, needs to find a male heir. Somehow or another, he finds out he has a male heir. All hell kind of breaks loose from there as his heir is in New York. He brings his heir back to ZAMUNDA, and his heir's name is Lavelle. Lavelle struggles with adapting to a new life in ZAMUNDA and all the traditions that go on in ZAMUNDA. Same traditions that Prince Hakeem had to deal with as well in the original movie. Prince Hakeem now being King Hakeem, as his father has passed away. There's some interesting plot points going on, a lot of different characters, a lot of returning characters. The fact of the matter is though, the movie just wasn't as funny as the original. It wasn't even close. And a lot of people just expected more from having so many, like, I mean, these are like A-tier actors and actresses. Like, everybody here is, almost everybody's a GOAT. And only a few of them perform. Best performances easily. I mean, this is a comedy after all, so people who made me laugh: Leslie Jones, hilarious, and Wesley Snipes, which I don't know if it's just me, but I don't recall Wesley Snipes being like this huge comedic influence in the past. Maybe I just don't know my shit or something, because I just recall him from like all these different action movies and stuff where he was so awesome in those. That's what I remember. But I do remember he was pretty funny in some things. So he was easily one of the funniest characters in this. Definitely outshined Eddie Murphy to me. Eddie Murphy happening to be like one of the least interesting and funny characters in the movie, which is kind of sad. It's really his movie. I felt like he was the drawing factor in the original, but in this one, it's everybody else. When I saw the trailer for this movie, I was kind of thinking like, I hope it's good. That's what I was thinking. And I saw the barbershop scenes and I was like, yeah, those weren't really that good in the trailer. And in the movie, they're also not that good. So at least it wasn't false advertising. Yo, shout out to my dark-skinned sister, Kiki Lane. She played one of King Hakeem's daughters. Man, I saw her and at first I was like, man, she looks so young. I didn't recognize her because I haven't really seen her or nothing. She looks practically underage. I see she's 29. I'm like, whoo, Lord. Damn, that girl look good. Wow. Black really don't crack. Holy shit. There's a lot of dancing in the movie, which is something that I don't recall from the first one. That's pretty cool. I like that they had some pretty good choreography for it, but it always seemed like they cut it like really short, especially toward the beginning. They kind of extended it out toward the end, but toward the beginning they had some sequences where there would be like different performances and stuff, and like whenever somebody was like singing, they'd have kind of drawn out, but if somebody was dancing, then they would just kind of cut that like really short, like they were like really strict on the overall editing for how they were doing the movie. And I was like, yo, I want to see some of these dances, man. You know, the sisters be getting it in, so I was ready. And they kind of was cutting that short. A little annoying, but at least they included that, because that was actually one of my favorite things about the movie. One criticism about the movie, which is pretty much for me the biggest issue besides it not being as funny as the original, is they really just played it so safe. Lavelle, King Hakeem's son, basically goes through the same things where they got like this arranged marriage and it's for the good of the kingdom and all this stuff, but Lavelle, he's not with it. He's trying to get away from his daddy and all these traditions and stuff. Same thing that Prince Hakeem did in the original movie, but it's like now all of a sudden he doesn't understand. I guess when you become wiser, things change and your priorities change. So King Hakeem starts thinking more about his kingdom, and Lavelle, of course, is thinking about himself and his happiness that he has to choose over all else, because that's his happiness, right? So I get it, and not to mention, you just kind of uproot somebody. Like, imagine somebody's like, hey, you're a prince, I'm taking you back to Africa now. I mean, that would be cool and all, but I mean, who the hell knows what's gonna be going on if you're really gonna like it. So all the money and all the, I think there was like naked sponge baths with some, whew, I mean, that was interesting and all, but I kind of get it. I get where they were going with the story, but it just seemed like it was definitely not original enough. I'd like to see something more unique. At least Wesley Snipes added something quite interesting because he was acting like a damn fool in the movie. I can't speak for anybody else, but I actually thought that Lavelle was a pretty good actor. I thought he was pretty damn good as pretty much like the main character for the movie besides Eddie Murphy, of course. But yeah, I think he did a good job. So he didn't have as much, he wasn't like one of the comedians in the movie. He wasn't really doing anything funny, but he was pretty interesting. But I could definitely see some people saying that being one of the main characters and not being part of the funny action and the comedy for the movie is definitely a drawback. This movie even had some fight scenes, nothing too serious obviously, but it still had some, and I thought they were pretty cool. They kind of did like this female empowerment thing. Everybody's doing it these days. I kind of liked it because it actually made sense. It was pretty funny when it happened. It made sense because, again, Kiki Lane, who's actually up there in one of my high tier black female lists. So Kiki Lane is actually really good. She was trained, like she was training, I guess, like her whole life or whatever. So it made sense. They didn't just kind of just make her just go in there and just start beating the heck out of people, you know, with no training just because she was a woman. They actually said she was training and stuff. So it made sense. And they had a lot of humor in that particular part of the movie. So without spoiling, you know, how all of that goes down, it was something interesting and unique that I don't remember the original having, so I enjoyed that. Wesley Snipes and his addition to the movie, he was like from another kingdom, and that's how the whole arranged marriage thing started. I will say, without spoiling the movie, because I'm gonna leave this spoiler free for anybody who hasn't seen it, they don't really conclude like how they come to a resolution, because Lavelle doesn't want the marriage to solidify the kingdoms. So they don't really do a good job of concluding that. Kind of a broken plot point. But again, if you're one of those people who just doesn't really care about that sort of stuff, you're just kind of in it for the laughs, then it's all good. Final thoughts on the movie. I enjoyed the movie. I didn't hate the movie. I know it's getting a lot of criticism. I try to just kind of get away from all that, close off my ears. I don't want to hear it. Just try to see it for myself, not have my mind tainted by Kiki Lane and her greatness, or any of all the negativity that I've been hearing about the movie. I did enjoy it. However, it definitely doesn't hit as hard as the original. The original seemed like more of kind of an adult comedy. This one's kind of like this family type of thing. It just feels different. It was interesting to watch. Most people probably won't be returning to it. The first one's much better. Stick to watching that one. They even had flashbacks to the first one in this movie, so you're really better off just kind of sticking with that. That one's the classic. This one is definitely not going to be in anybody's classic list, or shouldn't be, I don't think, but to each his own. I'm giving it a 6 out of 10. That's my score. Like and subscribe to the channel if you like the content. Plenty more where that came from. Catch y'all next time. Roshad, Lamar out.